Hi, Freddy here, and I am going to be going over this, the Ghostbusters role-playing game by West End Games. It's basically the first version of the D6 system that I know of. Looking online, it seems to be very much the prototype for the D6 rule system, which is later used in the Star Wars game. Ghostbusters, a frightfully cheerful role-playing game. I'm just going to go through the books. Okay, first of all, I have my notes from an adventure and campaign I was going to write way back in the year. Let's quickly hide that. I was also a lot tidier back then, because everything's in nice Ziploc bags. So, the system's built that this, basically, is a character sheet. We have the traits: brains, muscles, moves, and cool. And everybody has one skill that you choose from a list. We'll go through that later. And basically, you roll the number of dice for each of these against a target number, as you do in the D6 system. Brownie points are a weird combination of character points, force points, and hit points. So as you take damage, you lose them. You also gain them for heroic actions, etc., etc. Achieving your goals. So we've got Egon here, very clever, into physics. Ray Stans, Venkman, Dana Barrett, Winston, and then some blank ones for the players. It's a very simple system. As with the D6 Star Wars, it uses an exploding dice system, but Ghostbusters very nicely gives you the ghost dice. So it has 1 to 5 on it, and then the 6 is replaced by the ghost symbol to let you know to roll an ad. Every character is only allowed to carry 3 items of equipment. So the equipment comes on cards, obviously lots of proton packs and ghost traps, but some stranger things further in: parachutes, scuba gear, alpine gear. Apparently they think that's going to be quite common. Camcorder, analyzers. A thing I also really liked at the time, I will admit that I was about 15, 16, was you get business cards signed by Peter Venkman, and then the warning card, which was just a spare. This card is an important legal document. Scrutinize it carefully and then file it with your important legal documents. Thank you. And it's just the copyright information. Putting everything away tidily again. So in the box, yes, it's a box. I miss the days role-playing games came in boxes, because they allowed you to do this and keep all your adventures and gubbins in there as well. I don't know what I'd have done. I have other role-playing games where stuff isn't stored in boxes and they're just scattered around. So we've got the training manual, which is basically the player's handbook. Some very simple introduction. Becoming a Ghostbuster, designing your character, how traits are used. Just very, very simple rules. What the equipment does. And then some blank ones to photocopy. In the days when you photocopied your character sheets. The operations manual does have some stuff in it for the Games Master, but actually is mainly adventures. If we can see here, 30th and Lexington, an adventure. Couch Potato, an adventure. Horror Biomed Chemtech, an adventure. Adventure ideas. It's all designed to get you going. The rules are so simple. And they give you so many ideas. I also have in here the Ghost Toasties, which was one of the adventures for it, which in the days they gave you GM screens with adventures. Details, simple hand-to-hand equipment, target numbers, so difficulty 5 for picking out someone in a single bar with your moves, Normal jobs, sleeping sound in the job, we call hard jobs, and impossible jobs down here. The sequence of play at the bottom, how to create ghosts. On the player's side, you've got the cover of the adventure. You've got designing a Ghostbuster, which, if I can get it close enough, we've got the brownie points here. Everyone begins with 20. Goals, your traits, your talents, and then lists of the talents you choose. Oh, I'm going to have to tilt the camera for this one. There it is. I'm sorry, I'm working in a very small space. I thought it would be big enough, but the camera zooms as soon as I switch it on. And Ghost Toasties The Adventure, which is basically about the ancient gods coming back. But they come back as things we worship now. So, Hagos the Unknowable comes back as Tony the Tiger. Although a non-copyrightable version of it. The second adventure, Hot Rods of the Gods, where aliens turn up but want to show off their cool cars. It has a big race section at the end of the adventure, but most of it's about Ghostbusters trying to be cool, getting a high-tech ectomobile, which I still think looks good, and then racing the aliens at their own game, because they're all teenagers trying to get our women. And the last adventure for the first edition, because they did bring out a second edition when Ghostbusters 2 came out. Unfortunately, I never picked it up. It didn't seem quite as funny. Scared Stiffs, which is about a more efficient, helpful version of Ghostbusters setting up business. ETI, Ecto Terminations Incorporated. And they turn out to be aliens wanting to steal the ectosphere from the world. So ghosts actually come to the Ghostbusters because while Ghostbusters might be their enemy, they're incompetent and useless, and they would much rather have that than be siphoned off by these efficient ones. And we've got a couple of wee booklets in the bottom. How to play, which details the rules, goes through the talents, how brownie points work, and that's the rules. Even on the back cover, it's just a fake letter congratulating you on setting up your Ghostbusters franchise. A booklet, the typical 10 minutes of play, with more franchise contract in there, lots of little text. West End Games loved their making fake forms. They did it a lot for Paranoia. Your release from damages that you get people to sign, common ghost types, and your EPA permit. A guide to what's in the box, plus blueprints for various things, places in the adventures in the main rulebook, and yet another form, your last will and testament for your Ghostbuster. Strange that the fake form is way bigger than your character sheet, just the card. Oh, and we've got what else could we have bought from West End Games? Rommel, North Africa, Air and Armour, RAF, Air Cav. Oh, Star Trek. Star Trek 3 solitaire games. 3 solitaire games. Cosmic Encounter. I have a version of that I want to go over at some point. And all the Paranoia books at the back. Ghostbusters is a very nicely set up game. As you can see from all the paperwork towards the end there, you are set up to be creating a franchise. You're not playing the heroes, you're not taking over from them. Here's a big section in the main rulebook which goes over how to set up your franchise. They recommend that you set up Ghostbusters within your hometown. So you're fighting ghosts in the local restaurant or whatever. Which I've never really done, but I like the idea of. I've played in a campaign which was set in my hometown, and the main problem with that always turned out to be the games master not knowing the town as well as the players. But Ghostbusters, there you go. A very simple D6 version of the system, the introduction to it, and it was a lot of fun. It was aimed towards the younger audience, which I was at the time. I was, as I said before, 14, 15, 16, that sort of age. Nice, bright, colourful dice. Everything's simply put on cards. Everybody gets 3 cards. You just put them under your character sheet, and you know what equipment you've got. It's very simple. It's very cool. I just wanted to go over it briefly with you. Thank you very much for watching.